It's a really interesting topic. So, we're talking about energy and how everything exists as energy. We're also going to be talking about how to use crystals to manipulate and heal yourself. So, once you understand the concept of everything being energy, it's pretty easy to understand how you could use crystals to interact with the energy of your body and do certain things with it, and it won't be as spooky or superstitious or even silly as some people would think. I completely understand that, but it comes from a lack of knowledge. So, firstly, everything exists as energy, whether it is solid, liquid, or gas. Things that are solid actually, and this is understood by science, I believe it's quantum physics. So even they are acknowledging the fact that just because something is solid doesn't mean that it doesn't have an energy about it. I mean, that's pretty easy to understand based off the fact that you're alive and you're solid. So you have to have something animating you. But when we also think about things such as certain metals, how they can attract things, magnetism. And if you really want to understand it using physics, whenever you are touching something like the ground, for instance, the reason why the ground feels solid is because whatever force you are putting on the ground, it is repelling or using a equal and opposite force back on you. Since the force of the ground is harder than the force of your body, then it feels solid to you. But that solid feeling is essentially the energy that the ground has. And so the ground has a lot of energy, of course. That's why it's so hard and so easy to break it. You have to have something that creates a stronger energy to break that. That's the nature of everything. So water has it has a higher energy, but it's liquid. So that's why you're able to permeate it, you're able to be submerged in it. And gas has the highest amount of energy, and you usually can't even see it. Like, you have gas all around you. It's the air that you're breathing. So it exists in such a high energy state that, you can't even see it. So everything is made up of atoms. Living things are made up of cells, but everything is made of atoms. And atoms are made of protons, electrons, and neutrons. The protons and neutrons are in a nucleus in the center. The electrons are in what is called an electron cloud around the outside of it. So they're in a constant state of motion. You can't even pinpoint where an electron is because it's moving so quickly. So if inanimate objects such as a wooden desk are made up of atoms, they are made up of energy because the atom is alive, is electrically moving. So everything is made up of the same thing. So that's energy. If it's moving like that, if it's acting that way, it's as energy. And if you want to think of it this way, it's kind of alive in a way. There's no such thing as anything that really doesn't have energy. Everything has an energetic field to it. So your body has an energetic field. It's called the Merkaba, but it can be easily understood as the electricity that powers your heart, powers your brain, keeps your body just functioning. So everything has certain energies as well, like your liver, your heart, your stomach. These have certain specific energy signatures as well. So crystals are, firstly, a lot of the things that you consume have crystals. These would be like let's say vitamins and minerals, but vitamins and minerals, certain metals. If you want to even go deep into it, like certain woods, woods, shells, patterns, and even colors have very specific meanings and significance and attributes. And these can be applied to your body at all times. So when we look to the ancient world, you can definitely see that, I mean, they understood this. This is why they naturally have patterned everything. They have patterns in their clothes, patterns in their architecture, patterns in their art and jewelry and body paint or tattoos. And it's kind of like that game Telephone. So if you know the game Telephone, you whisper something in someone's ear and they whisper it in the next person. And then the person at the end, you see if they understood what was said at first. Usually they don't get it right. And that's the same thing with jewelry and crystals and metals. Like, the ancients knew that they had certain properties and attributes due to they understood this. We just have this concept of they were primitive. We're a lot smarter, a lot better off now than we were then. But when you do research outside of Western education, you find that this is not the case. The ancient people were very enlightened. They knew a lot about a lot of things. They knew how to pretty much live naturally on this earth and use the tools that were given to us on this planet. We have tools everywhere. You shouldn't have to go and find or buy anything. Everything you need is already provided by the earth. But not to go into a tangent about that, the ancients understood that certain crystals or gems did certain things. This is why they used them even in their armor. I read that Japanese samurai used crystals in their armor, and this was to add extra layers of protection. Extra layers of protection. Maybe even like enhance certain qualities, like make them better fighters or something. Like, you would just have to look up, and the information is out there. You just need to start with well-known crystals like amethyst or pyrites or sapphire. Those are very expensive gemstones, but there are much more affordable alternatives. Like, you can get a crystal for a couple dollars or even a few cents, like shungite and tiger's eye and turquoise and quartz. All kinds of crystals have all different energy signals and attributes. All you will have to do is just look it up. Even seashells and beads made from natural materials like woods, and I think some beads are made of seeds. All these would have special attributes just based off the energy that they have innately in them. It's really interesting how patterns influence energy. This can be explained by how energy exists in wave form. So if you've ever seen those videos, you would just have to Google, I'll include some pictures, but you just have to Google sound creating a wave pattern. They have like a disc or a flat surface with sand on top, and the sand is just thrown on there, and they hook that up to sound, like some speakers with the heavy bass, and they turn it on, and the bass vibrates the flat surface, and the flat surface is now moving the sand, because it's going to slide over the surface, and eventually it forms like a very distinct, very uniform pattern. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like how you could scientifically prove that sound and physical existence and all these exist as a wave pattern. So the sand represents the physical representation or the physical manifestation of that sound wave form. So that's why ancient people used those different patterns and different shapes in their, like the henna. That makes me think of the henna on the hands, and like the African jewelry, how it has like repeating patterns. A lot of indigenous jewelry has that, like Native American jewelry. And they understood that, and I I mean, I wouldn't say that if you went to one of these people today, they would explain it that way because of what I just said about kind of like the telephone game. Like, you've forgotten over time. We've forgotten over time the significance of jewelry. We just wear it now for decoration. But before, people would wear it for all kinds of things. I mean, I'm not sure if they would be aware of that, but I would credit that to ancestral memory. So even if they're not aware exactly how it works or what it's doing, they still wear it because it's just ancestral memory. It's memory that's passed down through the generations, and they understand that has significance. I mean, I'm just speculating right now, but I don't know if people would explain it exactly that way. They would just, like, usually when I hear it explained, like, when you're watching those documentaries and it's some English fellow and he's narrating them visiting some sort of indigenous village, and they're talking about, oh, they worship this god and all this stuff. Like, you can't be sure exactly if those documentaries are accurate. For one, like, the people in those cultures could be like, I'm not going to tell this guy all our secrets or all our traditions, that would be kind of dumb. Or on the other hand, the people themselves might have forgotten exactly why they do such things. So it's all kind of an awakening process coming on now, because a lot of people are really into crystals and just natural forms of healing. So it's kind of like the ancestral memory is really waking up right now. So it's a really interesting time to be on Earth, I guess. Tesla is someone most famously known for understanding this energy. He wasn't credited at his time for his contributions for various reasons, but I won't get into it. But he was, quote unquote, the first to discover how energy works and it's all around us. But he actually learned this information from the ancient Egyptians. The way he set up his wireless transmitter of power was essentially I think exactly similar to how the ancient Egyptians used the pyramids. And what we know about the pyramids is we don't know, quote unquote, what they do, but I think it's been mostly agreed upon that they were used as a transmission of energy just from the places they're located around the world. Mexico, China, United States even, South America. They're all over the world. And I think they actually even link up in a certain way and create a certain pattern. So it's kind of showing you they are aligned with the Earth's energy. And apparently also the pyramids in Egypt were capped with a certain metal. I'm not sure exactly what that metal was, but it was used to enhance or perhaps even activate the energy channeling. So Tesla was pretty much creating a wireless energy transmission, which would harness the energy that's all around us and channel it to power things. And this was the foundation of the belief of free energy, which makes a lot of sense. So understanding that, why do we pay for energy when it's provided here for? It's just like, why do we pay for water when? So having said all that, it's pretty simple to understand how exactly a crystal would work. So the crystal or metal or bead or shell has a unique energy signature that comes from the earth because it's naturally produced. Okay, so say for instance a certain crystal has the ability to enhance blood circulation or promote healing of the blood specifically. It might be a red crystal because red is obviously associated with blood, and the different colors would have different attributes. Like blue is associated with the mind, and so is yellow, and is associated with the liver, and so on and so forth. So this crystal has a certain frequency that, if applied to the human body, and let's say something's wrong with your blood, the frequency that your blood would normally give out is altered in a certain way. So this is also what Tesla was talking about, with certain energies having the ability to manipulate others when interacting. This is called like wave interference. So like it's the same thing. If you put a magnet and a metal together, it will attract. They'll cling together. Some will repel. You know, certain things, when you mix them together, it will explode. This is just simply their energy interacting. Some things aren't meant to interact. So when you put the crystal on your body, firstly, it's interacting with the energy field that extends beyond your body. If you understand, your body's animated through electricity, and electricity exists as a field. It doesn't exist as it extends past your body. I mean, I feel like that. It's just same thing. You can understand it when you walk across a carpet and you touch your car and it shocks you. That's because your energy has become more charged, and when you touch the car, it transferred from your hand to your car. So you have already seen proof that your body has the ability to transmit energy and has some sort of energy or electric-like field around it. So when you add the crystal to your body, it will manipulate, it will interfere with your energy field. So say, for instance, your blood energy field is defective in some way. You add that crystal to it that specifically targets that. It's going to pick up that energy, and it's going to bring it back to homeostasis. It's going to bring it back to equilibrium, where it's supposed to be, because just from the simple fact that they carry the same frequency. So this crystal that isn't going to be manipulated by the improper frequency in your body, it has no choice when interacting with your body to bring your body to that frequency. It's as simple as that. I definitely encourage people to just look into this stuff. This is pretty much understanding nature. This is understanding reality that, you know, today's world says that is unimportant and should take a back seat. But this is the reality that was always here. Nature and the things that were naturally provided to us by, the creator or whoever you believe created this. If you're an atheist, I get it, but it just doesn't make any sense. Especially if you atheists are usually linked to science. If you really listen to what they're saying with science, how could you possibly believe that all this was created by accident? Not saying that there is a God or a father figure or person upstairs controlling everything. It's I believe the creation is or the creator is a non-human entity, of course. You know, the whole concept of God is a man-made concept, but the earth is just too perfect for us. If it was 1 degree this way or that way, life wouldn't survive. The sun is perfectly here to not too far, not too close. I think it's like by a few inches it will like burn us up or we'll freeze to death. You know, everything here is perfectly provided for us, yet science says it was an accident. That just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so it doesn't matter what you believe, but you have to recognize the fact that the earth was indeed created, and we have a reason and a purpose here. And it was not only created, but it was created with the tools that we need to survive. So that's what I'm just encouraging people to look more into. And of course, I'm not like a doctor or giving any medical advice. This is for just knowledge purposes, and just to be aware of the world around you. So that's all for today. Definitely do your own research. Just make some time to look into this stuff. There's just so much out there. You have it all on your fingertips. You have a smartphone. Just take some time to really just try to figure the world out. We have everything that we need here. We have everything that we need. It came with everything. And I think it's just really important to get back to that. So thanks for listening and tuning in, and we'll see you next time.